Well, hello friends, neighbors. John, you whiskey neighbor here, and welcome back down to the Whiskey Nook here in my basement. Today, finally Saturday, I get to talk a little bit of whiskey with you, take a break from the chores, and we're going to talk a bourbon today. Bourbon that really created quite a stir when it finally got released beyond the distillery. We'll talk a little bit about the history when we get back, but I want to talk to you today about Old Tub. Old Tub is from Jim Beam. It is its calling card is Unfiltered, but it's bottled in bond. We'll talk more about this bourbon when we get back. This is my thoughts on Old Tub.
3, 4.
Thanks for staying with me through the break. I actually don't know enough about the history. I think we all know the story of Old Tub. The idea is before Jim Beam Distillery really was Jim Beam, they were known for making a whiskey, as the story goes, back in the 1800s. And then I imagine they would age and then they would, dump barrels, but glass bottling really wasn't the thing. So people would come with their jugs, and they would, they'd dump the barrels into a larger tub, and people could, scoop out as much whiskey as they wanted and pay for it, of course. I think that's the story. I'm not sure how that would look, but the idea was that they did produce a bourbon way back in the 1800s, end of the 1800s though. I think it was like 1880 or something like that. Some dates I've seen thrown around, and it was known as Old Tub, and it was kind of like a bulk food for whiskey. That's an interesting idea. Someone should get on that. So that's the history. Now, as I understand it, sadly, I have never been down to the distillery. When all of this pandemic is done, I'd like to go on some whiskey tours. But they've always apparently had Old Tub for sale at the distillery, but not beyond that. And then, I don't know if it's could be as much as a year ago. I don't think so. But across the US, Old Tub came out as a special kind of limited release, and it made it up here to Canada. And I have to say, it's an affordable product, which I love. That is actually going way back to the heritage of the channel. I'm always trying to find good whiskey, but something that you can afford, or I can afford, people can afford. So this is Old Tub from Jim Beam, likely 13% rye, so that'd be 75 corn, 13 rye, and 12 barley. The biggest thing about this, it is bottled in bond. So I don't think it tells the years. So if it doesn't say years, bottled in bond, of course, is single season, single distiller, under the direction of a single master distiller, and released at 50%. And the minimum it could be is 4 years old. Could be older, but if they don't put the years on it, then we know all of those minimums, which are nice check boxes. But the biggest thing I suggest to you about Old Tub, right on the front when it talks about Unfiltered. So this is really as close to just expressed from the barrel. Of course, it's cut with a bit of water because it would have been at a higher proof if it would have come straight from the barrel. But it's not run through any kind of filtration. So that's really all I know about Old Tub. As I said, I think it's affordable wherever you go. So it's reasonable for you guys to grab a bottle and see what you think. But let's talk whiskey. This is, honestly, a classic bourbon nose. We've got strong caramel, light fruit, a little more vanilla, a little more sweet corn. On the fruit on the edge of a really light cherry, more like a maraschino, not a really dark Bing, just a light cherry fruit. Lots of vanilla, caramel, sweet corn. I said all that. Nose is nice. It's not, it doesn't, like there's some noses that are like, whoa, or what's that? I don't think that's going to happen for you. It doesn't happen for me anyways, but it is a good, clean, inviting nose if you like bourbon. Let's see what it tastes. I hope you have something to pour along. Any bourbon will do. And you can contrast what I'm saying with what you're picking out. Yeah, a little bit of sourness comes up if I stay on the nose. Yeah, just a little souring, a little like a pleasant souring, but okay. See how it tastes. Cheers. I like that. I find a little bit of sweetness up front, but more like very light, like a light vanilla, or a lot of vanilla, but a vanilla sweetness, so it's kind of high and light, and then I find it goes pretty quick to oak, good oak. Then it moves in my mouth, a little spicing comes up. This spicing here is a little cracked pepper and a little cinnamon, so it is a little bit spicy. It's not blowing me over in any one direction. Then as I swallow and we're getting into that early finish, back into the oak, back into a little bit of char actually. Yeah, a little bit of charred wood. I need another sip. I like the way that coats in the mouth. It's a little bit chewy. It's not like really thick and heavy chewy, but it's got a presence in the mouth, in my opinion. So I've given you all the tasting notes, but I've held back on one because I've walked through this over the phone with cousin Brad, and he doesn't get it at all. I get it in spades, and I didn't get it at first. And I'm talking about a significant peanut note. I get it. Now I cannot not get it. For me, it's a cooked peanut in a peanut brittle. So you take like a peanut brittle. So like if you've had that before, we're talking that cooked sponge toffee type, that nice kind of high sugar crack, and you're crunching on some peanuts. And I get that so much in Old Tub right now. I have to say I did not get it until, I don't know, I was into it a little bit. Like I don't mean in one night. I mean, I was tasting it over a few weeks. And now I come back to this bottle and it's got all those other notes that I shared with you. Light cherry, nice caramel, expressive vanilla, decent oak char in the early finish. But I get it right in the palate. I don't get on the nose, and I start getting that peanut. And the more I have it, if I go for a third quick sip, I'm in peanut land. Now, I love peanuts. Might be why I get it, because I kind of, maybe I'm only getting a hint of it, and then my mind is like, oh, you like peanuts, you like this, so you're probably tasting that. I can't explain it to you, but I do. And I don't want to overdo it because, as I said, Cousin Brad and I walked through this, spent an evening talking through it, and the whole time, even with me saying it, he never picked it up. So it can't be as strong as I'm saying, but it is for my palate. So that's interesting. Old Tub, Bottle and Bond, affordable, great story. Love that unfiltered nature. I like it. This is easily like a nice, solid 4 stars. It probably critically is under 4, but I'm happy to stick my name on and say it's a 4-star bourbon because you know what? It's affordable. And that is saying a lot these days. Wanted to compare it very quickly to another bourbon that I absolutely love. One that I have grown in my appreciation over the years. When Wild Turkey first kind of came into my home, I liked it. For some reason, I didn't love it. I really got a lot of sour notes on it. And that kept me from really loving it. Like it always kept it kind of down in that 3.5 star. Like obviously it's good affordable bourbon, but now I have really gained an appreciation. So I'm seeing I wonder how it'll play out against Old Tub. Now Wild Turkey has same mash bill or very similar, as I understand it, 75, 13, 12. That's classic Wild Turkey. Now Wild Turkey, this is Bottle and Bond. Is it Bottle and Bond? Do they say that? I mean, it's 50.5%. So I don't know if they say Bottle and Bond, but what makes this unique, of course, is the number 4 char, which they're quite famous for. And I would suggest it contains older liquid than Old Tub. And in my neighborhood, it's even more affordable. This often goes on sale for a crazy amount. In fact, it's so affordable, I will always have Wild Turkey on the shelf. So in this comparison, now it's an older bottle, like let me open more, a little dustier, a little more spice. Yeah, interesting that I'm getting almost like a dusty note, whereas this has gone into peanut land. Yeah, this is, a little spicy, a little dusty. Interesting. Better taste it. The flavor is stronger. Less butter, less cooked down, more spice, more cinnamon. Cleaner in some way. So expressive, cleaner, less chewy on the palate. Sharper, but not in a negative way. Just my palate feels almost cleansed. It's a little more drying on the finish. Yeah, a little more wood dry on the end. Interesting head to head. Definitely sweeter. Definitely more honeyed peanuts. Wow. In this head to head, it shifted this palate into a sweeter bourbon for Old Tub. And Wild Turkey, yeah, a little more almost tobacco on that one this time. A little more, it's got to be that char or something coming through, like a real different kind of oak wood note. Very interesting head to head. Look, I like both these bourbons. I do. And I think if you're a bourbon drinker, you should go out and get a bottle of both. I will always recommend Wild Turkey now. It's moved from back in the day, like I said, like a 3.5, solid 4. Solid 4. And because of the value, like, as I said, I'm always going to have it on the shelf. Old Tub, in this sitting, has moved into that nut, sweet coat, and it's really set itself apart from the more char spice kind of not drying Wild Turkey. I hope you like that thoughts. I think I rambled a little bit, but I like both, and I think they're worth picking up if you enjoy bourbon. I'm not going to blow your mind, but a decent bourbon. Thanks for joining me, you guys. Have a great weekend.